Well, hello there my fine gardening friends, how the devil are you? Welcome to a beautiful Sunday morning here in equally beautiful Nova Scotia. It is Father's Day, and what a beautiful Father's Day start it is. As you can see behind me, it's absolutely lovely blue skies this morning. Rained all day yesterday, which is welcome rain because we've had a very dry spring, and as you can see the veg garden's looking absolutely fantastic, and the flower garden is looking fantastic, well I think anyway, and it's obviously needed this rain, so that was welcome yesterday, but blue skies today, so a nice bit of gardening, a nice bit of walking today on Father's Day. And it's funny when you're a gardener now and you're of a certain age, you start to get gardening things for all your presents. So I got a load of gardening plant labelling kit for my one of my Father's Day presents, so that was very welcome. But that's not what we're here to be talking about today. It is hedges. I've been meaning to do a hedges video for ages, and I've had lots of requests to do some sort of update on the different hedges I've got. I'm just going to turn this camera out because I've just realised I'm a bit shady there. Oh, it's better for me, may not be better for you looking at my ugly mug. Anyway, hedges. So I've got various different hedges around the bazaars. I've got this honeysuckle hedge, and lots of people have been asking me for an update on this. I've got a privet hedge and a yew hedge. All grow, and so sort of some other sort of semi hedges actually. You've got a bit of a dogwood hedge sort of starting to happen, so we can have a look at that. But the honeysuckle one is the one that everybody's really been sort of asking about, so I thought I'd give you an update, see how we're getting on. I don't know if you can see now, but we're actually doing quite well. This is about 4 years old now, I think, and it's growing really strongly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to actually looking at the hedge rather than me for a second, and we can look better at the hedge itself. So as you can see, I've got this hedge along here that I have planted between my property and next door's property. It's not something we do really in Canada here, I don't think. I think it's because obviously a lot of the land properties are big, so it takes a lot of fences or hedges, but being English, we like a nice hedge, so that's what I've done. So this honeysuckle one, right, as you can see, it's grown quite strongly. Needs a cut now, needs a trim to sort of get it to branch out a bit more and thicken out for this year's growth. Otherwise these long leaders will just grow out long, so I want to chop it quite a bit, and then that'll get it to bush out a bit more like it has down the bottom. As you can see, originally I planted them a bit far apart because I didn't have as many, so I think they were nearly about 4 feet apart. But what I've done is I've taken some cuttings, and that's when that grows out, that should make the hedge proper. So I've got these along here, as you can see, but yeah, it's looking really good, and it's just flowered, which is one of the reasons why I haven't yet chopped it. I'm just going to get the hedge trimmer to come along. So this is looking, and I need some more cuttings along here to fill it out, which I'm going to show you in a minute, which I've taken some early cuttings, and what I've done of the early growth before it sort of, and even here I think I reckon some of these would take, is I chopped them off about a pencil sort of length, just below the base there. Chopped it off there, and then I made sure I cut it back there so that we don't have like dead growth. So then I took that and then I chopped it off as well at the top end to make the actual cutting. What we'll do is we're going to have a look in the greenhouse now, look at the cuttings. But as you can see, this hedge, 3 or 4 years old, is doing wonderfully, and I'm really pleased with it. So here we are in the greenhouse, and here are some cuttings. I've got 2 of these, so there's about 2, 4, 6, there's about 10 or 20 in each one of these actual pots, which is obviously overkill, but nowhere near any of these are going to all take. But as you can see, I've dropped them back to about that length, and cut just below that, you know, the node, and used a bit of cutting powder, etc. And already a few of these are starting to grow some new leaves. 1, 2, 3, and the other ones look okay. I think that one's even grown a lip. So, you know, whether all of these take or not, I don't know, but I reckon a few of them will take, and then I'll have some new plants. So honeysuckle is really easy to take cuttings on the new growth. And got this one here, although it seems to be eaten by something. I'm not sure exactly. Can you see that properly? It's gone a bit dark, isn't it? Weird. Yeah, the leaves of this one have been eaten by something. I'm not exactly sure, but they look like they're taking as well, a few of these. So there we go, that's the honeysuckle. Easy to take cuttings, and that will fill out those extra bits that I need filled out, and then I can use it somewhere else to make another hedge somewhere. Could be hedge-tastic. Anyway, on to the privet hedge. So as you can see behind me, there is my privet hedge. That's grown, that's about 5 years old now, and obviously you can see that's grown really well. Again, I need to trim all of these hedges this early summer. I like to leave it a bit late because of any birds that might be, you know, raising their young in, you know, in birds' nests in there. And actually, just in that seat, the covered seat behind me, there is a blackbird that's got a nest in the roof, so I don't want to make too much noise along there. But again, this is growing really fantastically. Let's have a look a bit more in detail. Now, the one thing I'm disappointed with is sort of, it's a bit more, too much growth on the top. Now, whether that's my fault with the cutting, or maybe I just need to cut it a bit more, but it's a bit thin on the sort of growth below there rather than all top. So maybe I just need to keep cutting it, and that'll get it to sort of push out a bit more, or more sort of growth along there. But either way, privet's really easy, and again, privet's been really easy to take cuttings with. As we can see there, those three there are all from cuttings, so pleased with that. Yeah, so that's, you know, that is definitely kept people from the road, which is over there, from seeing into this area. So that's good. So I've got a little bit of privacy in my contemplation garden. Now, a quick look here. At a hedge, which is going to be a hedge, is this bamboo. So this is clump forming bamboo, not bamboo that's going to cause a problem by sending out runners everywhere. But again, this is going to be hopefully a good hedge and block out, you know, the scruffy bit behind there. So when that gets going, and that growth there is just from this year, so that should grow nicely and provide a sort of a more informal hedge for me in the contemplation garden. There we go. As you can see, it's a good, the privet is a good hedge, blocking out the road definitely. Right, so coming out of the contemplation garden into the main front garden, and sort of on my right hand side here is the orchard. All very windy now today. Is my yew hedge, which has not been the success I wanted it to be. So this bit here is growing nicely. These are a couple of years old, these, so they're starting to grow well, except for out here and here, and then definitely coming on here, they've been eaten. and I was wondering what was going on. And then I caught one day and saw that it was deer, and I didn't realise that you was partial, deer were partial to you. So what I'm going to have to do is put some sort of cages around these to let them get going properly, each one of these, so that those blackguard deer can't eat them, and then they'll grow up nicely, hopefully, and bushy like those ones, and then really come on as that hedge I want to divide this part of the garden to the orchard, so that, you know, you come behind. What will happen, well, what my plan was that you would see Hedges across there, you know, in a few years time, and they've got this great big rhododendron here, and then you come round and you go, oh look, there's a path in, oh look, this is a nice area. And that was my plan, but not working as well so far. But let's hopefully I can protect the yew and get them going nicely. These take well from cuttings in the autumn, but obviously very slow growing compared to things like Privet and the Honeysuckle. Now, a bit of a bonus hedge here, and it's not why I sort of really planted them, is all along here is dogwood. So I've got red and yellow dogwoods alternate all along here. So in the winter, obviously the leaves are all gone, and they come up fiery red and yellow and provide a nice bit of structure and sort of colour in what is obviously a non-colouring season of winter. But, you know, in the summer they grow up nicely and provide a bit of a hedge. So all the way around the orchard, I've got this hedge here, as you can see. So there we go, and with the addition of a nice looping growing through that hedge. But yeah, in the winter, that especially on that side there, they're all red along there, and that's fiery red. It's really nice against a sort of skeletal structure of the apple trees behind. Really nice. So there we go, a bit of a hedge update. Hope that was interesting for you. Well, as interesting as hedges can be anyway. Some successes and some not so successes. Obviously the honeysuckle's doing really well, and the privet's doing really well, really. Just a bit bare at the bottom edges. I've got to sort that out. The yew, I've got to protect it, and hopefully it will come up and I can get it to sort of flourish. And because yew is my favourite sort of hedge, really, you know, and you know, once it gets solid and up there, and nicely coutured, as they say, it always looks absolutely wonderfully striking as a backdrop plant, and it's a good divider, like, you know, for privacy. So really hoping I can get that moving. Some unintentional successes on the hedge front. The dogwood giving me sort of a more informal type hedge in the summertime, and then obviously in the winter time that striking red and yellows of the different types of dogwood I've got there. And also the bamboo, you know, clump forming bamboo I like, not that stuff that so you always got to make sure you get that sort of bamboo in it, and it does well here. You know, we get down to -25 sometimes in the winter, so it's pretty hardy, this type anyway. So looking good. Well, anyway, the last bit all is to say is happy Father's Day again to all you chaps out there, and job's a good one.